So one of the main shifts that happens, and you hear people say this all the time, they say nothing you need is outside of you, is external, that everything you need is within you. Sounds nice, but what the heck does that even mean? So when I was first on this path, just seeking truth, seeking God, trying to be spiritual, I don't care about any of that anymore. But when I started, I did. And so there is this dichotomy that happens where, like, at first you care so much, and you need to. And I think at first to realize anything, you need to want it more than you need the next breath. Like, you really have to give it 1,000% effort. And then when it happens, you suddenly shift into a place where you realize you can do whatever you want. Nothing really matters anymore. You can kind of ease up on the reins. You can get off the horse altogether. Like, it doesn't matter. But until you're there, you hear people say a lot of things that sort of make sense, sound good, but you don't really know it or live it until you actually have your own shift. So one of the things people say is, everything you need is within you. Now, that's true, but when you don't feel that, it's kind of annoying when people say it. It's like, okay, great, give me some practical steps. And that's what I never got from people, because I was trying to gain knowledge or just gain this thing, which is the wrong way to look at it. Anyway, back to the point. You realize everything you need is within you because that's where you find what you want. So you spend your time seeking and gaining knowledge and reading books and listening to videos like these, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that at first. It will change to where you don't really need knowledge at all. But when you do, you just gain it and gain it and gain it. And then you do come to a place where you realize, well, you just hit dead end after dead end. And you realize knowledge doesn't get you anywhere. And it might actually be the thing blocking you from what you want. So think about what knowledge is. Just think about it on your own. Like, what is knowledge? At first you don't know something, and then you gain a piece of knowledge. You read a book, you hear something from someone, you Google something, and suddenly you know, or you're aware of a concept that you weren't previously unaware of. The ego loves this, because at the top end, oh, so cool, a deer is walking through here. Awesome. At the top end of knowledge is, or the height of knowledge is, looking intelligent. And, that's something the ego wants. And the low end of that is looking dumb. And that's something the ego doesn't want. Now, when you awaken out of knowledge, because that's not what this is, you don't care if you look smart or dumb. Doesn't really matter. You don't care if you contradict yourself, because it's, of course, you're talking about something so deep, you're going to contradict yourself. So the thing is, knowledge is external. It is. You find it externally, and then you develop a concept, and then maybe it becomes internal. But that's not coming from you. It's coming from outside of you, and then you are just taking it to be you. Now, what comes from you, which really actually is the thing that awakens, is your true self, your true nature, which isn't really from you. It's not personal. It's bigger than us. It's everything. But at first you have to hit all the dead ends of knowledge to realize that's not where it's found. And then you start looking within. So say you meditate and you start seeking, like I did. I was seeking a transcendent experience. I thought, if I have an out-of-body experience, or if I get teleported somewhere, or like if I feel bliss, I will find it there. And so I tried, and I asked people and questions, and I found out I wasn't meditating long enough. And they said, if you want any kind of experience, you got to meditate more than like a half hour. So I did. I meditated once for 40, 50 minutes, which is longer than my usual. And I had an experience where I felt Like my whole body was tingling. It was awesome. I mean, it felt so good, like a hug of the universe. But then I got up and went about my day, and I didn't have that feeling. So what good is that? Then I realized, oh, well, geez, it's not in your feelings either. It's not in my physical sensations. Where is this thing that everybody is saying is within me? If everything is within me, and it's not knowledge, and it's not sensations, then what is it? So then I went to my emotions. I got closer. I thought, okay, I'm going to go do shadow work. I'm going to heal everything. I'm going to go to counseling. And I did. I did all these things. And it helped. That did help a little bit. And really, the deep shifts do seem to be, I don't know if they're from emotion, but your emotions are involved. Because letting go of stuff is a challenge. After I let go of some things, forgave some people, I started to realize it's not in my thoughts. It's not in my sensations. Emotions are kind of a decent guide when it comes to certain things, but that's not really where it is either. So then I just lost all hope of ever finding this thing that people call awakening, that gave people such peace. Okay, it's the next day. That's why my shirt's blue. To carry on that video, let's finish this one. Anyway, I was looking for whatever people call awakening, in my thoughts. I gave up there. Then I looked for it in my emotions, and I kind of gave up there. And then I looked for it, all these places. And I eventually just stopped searching because I got so freaking tired of trying to find this thing. And that's the beautiful part of this whole process is in the giving up, something emerged. There was a release of my thoughts. There was a frustration. There was an emotional breakdown. And then I just quit. I just thought, whatever, I'm done. And it's similar to what people say when you stop looking for a partner, you find them. And it's exactly what happened to me. I finally, after dating and having all these bad experiences, I remember just telling God, I quit. I will be single the rest of my life. And it's not out of anger. I'm actually okay. I'm exhausted. I'm okay being single. And then like 2 weeks later, I met my wife. So there is something to be said for just your personal will giving up. Just giving up. Like that personal search, that sense of I, me, I'm searching, I'm doing this, I will find this, all of that stuff. That is not where it happens. When that is given up, it seems like the grace of God, or whatever you want to call it, the infinite, the unknown, the quantum field, that you either sink into it or it comes up in your body. I don't know how it works, but something it is felt, it is known. You can't mistake it and be like, oh, I wonder if this is awakening. Like your entire perception shifts. The way you feel, the way you look around, the way you even see things. Like I now view nature like I'm on a low dose of psilocybin mushrooms all the time. Not because I'm trying or I think it's cool. It just happened. I don't know what caused that. I can still get around and things, but the point is you can't mistake it for a concept. It's not a concept. So it's challenging to share this stuff because people will hear it and want something or make it a concept or think they have it, but really they just have a really well thought out conceptual understanding of what they think it is, and it's not that. So yeah, that's why there's no way to teach this, really. There's just pointing. I can tell stories, I can point, I can say kind of what I did or what I didn't do that helped. And at the end of the day, I really want to aim this channel a little differently than what I've been doing. I've just been sharing my experience and answering a lot of questions, but I'm seeing now that there's 3 groups of people that are attracted to my videos. Now there is the group that has had the experience, so they just enjoy me talking about it because they are watching almost for entertainment, and just resonating with what I say because I am sharing a different perspective of something that they've experienced. Then there's a second group, which I really enjoy and have hope for. And they are the ones that are practicing, they're struggling, they're meditating, they're praying, they have a devotion, they are doing things, they're doing shadow work, and then they come to me with questions about like what they're doing, if they're doing it right, if they have questions based on their actual practice. And then there are the third group, which I just feel bad for and is a little frustrating sometimes. They just want to ask 1,000 questions. Their ego wants to understand the process, and they don't really have a practice. They're not really changing. They're not looking at themselves. They really just want to know. They want to ask and they want to ask. They're what I call ask holes. They just ask questions forever. They don't really do anything about it. They don't change. They don't use the information for any purpose. They just, for some reason, think that knowing or understanding this stuff is going to be beneficial or helpful, and it's not. It doesn't, actually. Knowing less about this is probably more beneficial. So what I want to start doing is kind of pointing more directly at your actual experience, what you are seeing, what you are hearing, what you are thinking, and start giving more pointers to actually have the experience, because it's like somebody asking me all day about what it's like and what it feels like to drive a stick shift. No, that's complicated. Let's get more basic. A strawberry. Say you've never tasted one. So you get people that come and ask you, what's a strawberry taste like? And you try to explain it. And then you get questions, and it's kind of fun at first, and you share back and forth. But then after a while, you just think, God, what are we doing here? Get in the car. Let's go to the store. I'm going to buy some strawberries, and you're just going to taste one. And they finally taste it. And then they know, oh my gosh, all the talking about this was pointless. All I had to do is taste it for myself. Now everything anyone's ever said about it makes sense. So yeah, I want to try to aim these a little more to have people actually taste it and stop talking about it so much. And I'm not going to be answering everybody's questions anymore. I'm going to be sharing, I think, more practical things, and just continue sharing what it's like in my experience as it continues, because it's fun, honestly. And it gives me a good feeling. I also have someone I know who just, I've heard this question a few times about, like, why do people even share this stuff? Isn't that ego? The answer is no. When you're free, you can do whatever you want, and the ego doesn't understand that. And it never will until that person experiences it, and then they'll know. But, there's accusations of, why are you on YouTube? Why are you sharing? Aren't you just doing it for attention? Are you just whatever? There is this universal common trait among people who have had these shifts, and it is the desire to share. I don't know why, and I'm not going to pretend like I know where that comes from. But from what I've seen, everyone who's had a genuine shift from suffering to peace naturally wants to share it. And why wouldn't you? Say you were given $1 million and you only needed 20. What are you going to do with the rest? Like, you can only spend 20. I mean, the first thing I would do is start looking around for people that need help and start giving the money out. I think it's just a natural part of this process that the ego doesn't understand, because the ego is selfish and wants to gain. And this isn't for gain. All right. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.